StatKey can be used to find the area under the curve for a normal distribution. It also has options for a t, chi-squared, and f distribution, which you'll see in later lessons. In this lesson, we're only going to be working with normal distributions. The default is a standard normal distribution. This is also known as a z distribution, which has a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. We can edit these parameters. For example, let's work with SAT math scores. These have a mean of 500 and a standard deviation of 100. This distribution plot works similar to those that you've seen in the last few lessons when you were constructing confidence intervals and conducting hypothesis tests. We have left tail, two tail, and right tail options. We can use the left tail option to find the proportion of a curve less than a given value. For example, let's find the proportion of scores less than 400. We can click the value at the bottom and change this to 400. This changes the area that is shaded in. The proportion of scores less than 400 is 0.159, or 15.9% of scores. We could also change the proportion. Maybe we want to know what score is at the 25th percentile, so the score that is better than 25% of scores. We could change this proportion to 0.25. And the 25th percentile is a score of 432.552. We could use the two-tail option. Once we edit something here, you'll see that the default in the two-tail option is to compute symmetrical proportions. So if I change the bottom proportion to 0.10, it automatically changes the upper proportion to 0.10, giving us the scores that separates the middle 80% from the outer 20%. Again, we can change the proportions or we can change the values at the bottom. It's relatively rare, but if you're working with a scenario where you have 2 points but they're not symmetric about the mean, instead of using the two-tail option, you could check both the left tail and right tail boxes. This will let you change one side without automatically changing the other side. For example, if we wanted to find the proportion of scores between 300 and 450, we could change the lower value to 300 and the upper to 450. StatKey and Minitab Express should give you the same answers. The only thing is that StatKey will only construct a normal, t, chi-square, or f distribution. Minitab Express does provide more options. But for these distributions, you can use Minitab Express or StatKey.